Welcome to the Kpopcast. I'm your K-pop host, Stephanie, and I am joined by our resident DJ, Pilo.
What's up, everybody?
And welcoming back to the show. It's been like 3, 4, 5 times. Like, you're our BFF now. We have Steven from K-Pop Unmuted.
Well, thanks for inviting me back. Always fun.
Thank you for coming back.
Yeah.
And our lovely PD Nim is
hello,
in the
everybody.
house.
Yes, everybody, hello. I'm here as well.
I feel like I need to make that like an air horn type sample. Like, hello, 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 everybody.
Hello, 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 hello.
I'm
All right, we've got a
full
full house today. That's because we'll be talking about I-DLE's Oh My God.
Letting you know if this song is Taebak or not.
But before we dive into that, first, our hit replays.
Hit replays are songs we recommend y'all listen to on repeat or replay for the week. Looks like Steven is first, our special guest. What is your hit replay?
My hit replay is by Signature, spelled for some reason like cigarette. Their first comeback, their second single, Asa, which has that special Korean S, which I don't know how to. I always want to hold it longer, but I know that's not really what that S means in Korean. Mm-hmm. Their debut didn't really catch my attention. I think Peter might have liked it.
I loved it. I hella love the drop on this song.
Same here.
Yeah.
But Asa is just so fun and quirky. It kind of gives me Momoland vibes.
Yep.
Yes.
The production is just amazing, and the start of it kind of reminds me of Cake. I don't know if you all know who Cake is, but
hella know Cake. I know John McRae, Vince DeFlore. Like, I know those band members
Blast
really
from the
well.
past.
I've gone to all their concerts. I am a super fan of Cake.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you think that guitar sounds a little Cake-esque? Anyway, I do.
All right.
I do. Take my word for it.
Yes.
And the what really hits me, though, is the chorus and the outro are so cool. They have kind of a 60s vibe. You know, they sound very modern, but there's something 60s vibe. Great song.
Though they did take more risks than Momoland in that they actually had a drop and a break. That wasn't just on the floor. House music. Okay, Stephanie, what's your hit replay?
My hit replay is Kang Danielle, To You. Came out a couple of weeks ago, and it is giving me like some Jay Park vibes with the fun, light hip-hop choreo. It's giving me like BTS Boy with Love vibes with just the up in the air, light, catchy, bouncy feel. And fun fact, the video was filmed at the Los Angeles theater, just like BTS Black Swan. So what's not to love?
Yeah, I was going to say also BTS Black Swan vibes. Mostly just from the visual, not from the song.
See, I wasn't going to like
exactly.
it. But when you found a way to bring in BTS in some remote connection, now I just have to like it, you know, by definition.
I mean, obviously,
yeah.
If you like BTS, try this song. Peter's up next.
All right, so I chose Stella John and her song Villain.
Yes.
It's a spunky ragtime, cutter swing jazz song.
Oh, that's what you call that, ragtime. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's got that, you know, it's got that swing in the beat, and it's fun. It's quirky.
I'm a villain. 왜 아닐 거라 생각해. 아주 못돼 먹은 작은 악마 같은 나인 걸 몰라. You're a villain. 왜 아닐 거라 생각해. 미처 몰랐던 악마가 네 안에 숨쉬고 있어. I'm killing someone. Maybe you're killing someone. Maybe I'm killing you. Maybe you're killing me. Maybe we all pretend to be the heroes on the good side. But what if we're the villains on the other?
The lyrics makes it feel so good to be so bad. But not bad.
Yeah,
meaning
she's
bad,
like, usually, like, you think you're the good guy, but what if you're the villain? What if I'm the villain? What if we're both the villains?
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I love Stella John. Is she's such an amazing artist, you know, lyrically and also vocally. Like, even though she's doing like a really ragtimey kind of thing here, she has covered like multiple different genres, like even hip hop in some cases, because her lyrical flow is so great. So
Ooh, send me her
definitely
hip-hop.
check this out.
yeah, but this was the one that was actually worth listening to. Sorry. Okay,
Michaela. Okay,
what's your hit replay for the week?
Oh, well, my hit replay is from Max, aka TVXQ's Changmin, his new release, Chocolate. This song and the lyrics don't necessarily have anything to do with chocolate specifically. It's just kind of like one of those like key catchy phrases in the chorus.
But the choreo.
True. The choreo, especially this one line he has where he's like swinging his hips and talking about, you know, being deep inside someone.
Wow. That came out of
not what
left
I was
field.
thinking.
I was not expecting that.
No, he's talking about your heart, being deep inside your heart, like your feelings. Yeah.
For the record, I was thinking of the cute part in the choreo where he licks his fingers one at a time.
Oh, right. Yeah, like, you know, eating chocolate.
There's nothing nudge, nudge, wink, wink about any of this. I don't know what you guys, you listeners are all thinking. Gosh.
But anyway, he's one of the like vocal kings of K-pop, so definitely go check this out.
It was a good one.
Yeah, I was impressed. This song was almost fully in that higher octave register. That's like home for Max.
Yeah.
Have you guys checked out the In My Fields podcast with Dre and Emily Heidel? They've had guests like BM of Card, Amber from F of X, Peniel of B2B, One Team, Samuel Kim, and many more acts and influencers in the K-pop realm.
What I've always loved about In My Fields is the quality of the guests in the chill, laid-back environment that Emily and JRE are able to foster with these special guests.
The whole concept of the show is great. I mean, they really do get in the feels and talk about these really personal topics.
Dre and Emily have such fun, welcoming personalities. It's fun to listen to them talk. It's fun to listen to them interview people. I feel like they really bring the best out of their guests. And, you know, if I had to have somebody do an interview, that's a good choice.
If you're looking to hit replay on another podcast, make sure to check out In My Fields with Dre and Emily Heidel.
All right, let's move on to our Daebak or Not for G-I-DLE's Oh My God. Woo.
Michaela, why don't you dive into the message, lyrics, concept?
Yeah, and we have to preface, for this version, we are mostly sticking to the Korean version of Oh My God, even though we do know that there is an English version, because this is actually G-I-DLE's US debut album.
What?
So they signed with Republic Records, I think early this year or maybe last year. And so that's why there is an English version of Oh My God on this album, because this is their first push into getting radio play here in the States.
Okay. And how are they doing with that? How's it going?
I know. I mean,
put it this way: I've got tickets to their Atlanta concert,
Ooh.
and I'm not making travel plans yet.
Yeah. If situations were different, this whole concept, this whole album really would have been an amazing push for them, doing a lot of stateside promotion. So my heart goes out to all of the Neverlands. My heart goes out to them for, you know, the ones at least stateside who might not have been able to see them perform it live yet.
Yeah, and listeners who are listening to this in the future, we recorded this back at right in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, so everyone's kind of quarantined and locked down right now.
Yeah, but getting into kind of what the core of this whole album and song is about. So I kind of put it down to like controversy and contrast. So there's this really big theme of having the colors of black and white. So
yeah,
these
and red, right?
Yeah, and they're kind of representing what reality versus expectations, or specifically what society's expectations are for you. So white represents something that's very innocent and pure. That's their reality, how they see themselves. Whereas black, it's representing something that's offensive and dirty, and this is how they believe society sees them. It's society's expectations for what they are.
I'm curious, where do you get this analysis? Because I mean, you could say the opposite, right? That society wants them to be more pure and innocent ladies, but on the inside they want to be free and bad girls.
Yeah, they want to give in to temptation.
Maybe projecting myself,
sin.
but
they want to. Or they were
who's
so
to say
good.
It's
they were
the first
brought
one,
to God.
All right. Yeah, but just tell me more about like where that's coming from.
If you look at the album title, the album is called I Trust. So it's them trusting themselves, so that even though society sees them as this black, offensive, dirty thing, they know truly that they are pure and they are innocent and they can be their true self, in spite of what people think of them. People think that they're bad, but inside they know that they're just being themselves.
Is that a real thing? Do Korean citizens, fans, think that they're like bad?
Well, they definitely portray a dark, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
concept.
I'm not sure I fully get behind.
I think I'd have to be in Korea to really get a sense, but
it's probably fair to say there's some people who view them that way, right? And probably overrepresented in social media and so on that they encounter.
Yeah,
I mean, they're definitely
they are women in the music industry. There's probably somebody.
Yeah, and they're not egyo.
Yeah.
They're not trying to be cute like children. They are trying to portray a more womanly vibe, especially in this video.
A very mature vibe, because, getting into the lyrics, the main lyric that has everybody all shook up is the fact that the chorus, they talk about, specifically they say, "Oh my God, she took me to the sky. Oh my God, she showed me all the stars." So it's implying that I-DLE is talking about a relationship with a woman, which is something that's incredibly taboo in Korea.
A woman
if you're in love
with a woman.
And that's how a lot of people are interpreting that lyric specifically, is that they're talking about a relationship.
Sacrilege.
With a woman. Yeah. There are other interpretations, though. I think, Stephanie, you saw...
Yeah. I wanted to research about what's going on in the background here, and the first video that came up in search results for me was from a creator, Bookish Theories, and she did an explainer that really ignored the queer theme or undertones and said, no, this is more, the she is symbolic of like love or lust itself, and that the theme of the song is a prayer, both to the old God or tradition, and like oscillating between following God and the virtue like Catholic God, and like freeing yourself of religion for this other new God. And that's I mean, I must say, maybe parts of both truths are compelling. What I think is most likely is that the label wants to touch on that edgy LGBT theme, but not dive fully into it and endorse it. They want to have plausible deniability.
They want ambiguity to touch all the theories.
Oh, yeah.
All the trends. But
all the trends, all the fans, Western audience, traditional audience. Yeah, I think from a business perspective, they want to do all of that, like dip their toes in to the controversy. And
my take is I'd be careful about taking the sort of the same-sex relationship angle too literally in it. We're always eager to see that sort of hidden, and this isn't too hidden, admittedly, but the inclusivity messages, from our favorites, and sometimes they're really there, and sometimes they're not. And I'm just thinking about what's the other option on this song? I mean, if the theme is like temptation versus innocence, the video has Soyeon kind of plays this temptress, right?
Yes.
And she's the one that the protagonist is talking about. If it were he, what are they going to bring in, like a male dancer to play that role? Or,
I'm down.
Just right. I mean, they could, but it kind of makes sense in the song.
I picked Jimin.
Definitely.
And there's also the angle that if it's sort of the light side and the dark side, there's even the opposite interpretation that sort of, how Katy Perry got some criticism for I Kissed a Girl, sort of the subtext being that was a bad thing, a naughty thing, or at least edgy thing. I mean, it could be that that's playing into the more traditional view that is a dark thing versus an innocent thing.
Who owns innocence? Like, who's to say that like loving women is this like dirty, lustful thing? Like,
and you can really interpret that. Like, if you do take the interpretation that this is talking about a relationship with a woman, it's a very toxic relationship. Yeah, because it's the specifically in like the lyrics that Yuki and I can't remember the other member's name, but they talk about, you're toying with me, you're destroying my reason, but still I'm letting you in, still I'm letting you take control of me, and like I know it's bad and you're bad, but still, you take me to the stars, so I have to come back to you. It's not really a relationship
that's pain and candy-coated drug and
it's like you get this feeling of euphoria from the chorus, but it's not euphoria from love and being happy of being in a relationship. It's really just lust. It's not anything that's
an addiction,
really pure or good.
I'm reminded of Lady Gaga's Judas, and that song was all about that was like a biographical statement on, man, I keep falling in men or putting myself attracted to these personalities that are actually very toxic for me. And I seem to worship all the wrong things. So I wonder if we're seeing a similar message with Oh My God.
I buy that.
It's the only real saving grace is that in Shua's verse, it goes back to that theme of like self-acceptance and trusting yourself. So even though, like, she specifically says, I print dark red love on my face, whatever people say, I follow love. It's kind of trying to be uplifting at the end, despite all the dark themes that they talk about before, and that, through this experience, I'm also learning how to trust myself and accept myself for who I am. And then they don't have this in the official audio of the song, but in the music video, they have this Latin verse that you can actually read right before the final chorus, and it's ab imo pectore, which literally translates in Latin to something like from deep within my chest. So it's kind of like the say it from your chest moment of like, okay, I'm me, this is me. This is how I feel. I'm going
from the bottom of my
be
heart.
myself.
Bottom of my heart.
From the bottom of my heart.
Yeah, I really like that the Shuha's last verse.
And visually, it's so beautiful because she's all in white and surrounded by, in this white room, surrounded by all the backup dancers, and she looks so pretty.
Yeah. Ooh. So on the visuals, like, what are we seeing that is reinforcing a lot of these theories that we discussed? There was clearly discussion, a lot of religious elements. We were seeing the crosses, and then we're also seeing, like, descent into the underworld, the all the taboo things. So
what really stood out to me from the music video was Minnie's character. She starts out she does the intro and the outro, and they start off dragging her away, but she's dressed all in white, and she seems sort of out of it. I don't know really how that fits into the storyline, but throughout the video, she's sort of beset by these characters with hands that are black. They sort of get darker as it gets toward their hands, and they're grabbing her and pawing her and whatever. And by the end of the video, she's in that same white outfit, but it's got handprints all over it. She's got a tattoo on her face. you know, and by the end, she's like a mix. She doesn't turn dark, but she's a mix of the light and the dark.
I think she, in one of the later scenes, her nose starts bleeding, and it's like dark purple, black even blood coming out. So maybe they really got to her. The explainer video I watched earlier said that she decided to take a bite of the poison apple,
the forbidden
poison
fruit
herself. Exactly, forbidden fruit. There we go. Adam and Eve, Snow White. How many biblical stories and Disney stories tell this fable? But she does it willingly because she wants to fall in love, and here we are. In terms of the visuals, there's so many Catholic or Christian overtones to it. In addition to the white versus black, I think anyone who's gone to communion has taken the sip of wine, and it represents the blood of Christ. We see one of my favorite parts of the videos is when a chalice of wine drops down, and when it hits the ground, it bursts into flames.
Yeah, that's a great visual. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so many epic moments like that, especially with red liquid or red wash over the screen, kind of showing that the love, or rather the passion and lust, takes over the characters. And you know what that means in Christian Sunday school story time. It's no good. You're cast out.
A lot of really brilliant imagery in this music video, but I will critique that it felt highly non-cohesive. It was like all over the freaking place. Unless you're subscribing to one of these theories, which tries to make sense of all of it. And I would like to contrast this with FKA Twigs' Cellophane. And that, if you watch that music video, like, oh my God, like that deserves an award. That music video is brilliant. Because
it was the one that got her a Grammy.
Oh, well, there you go. There it is. That told a story, like a very linear story from beginning to end. Like, oh, I'm attracted to this thing. It's beautiful, but actually it is very toxic for me, this person. And just because I would do it for you, would you do it for me? No. And we're not seeing that same linear storytelling in this. And I think this could have been strengthened so much better if we had a very clear beginning to end, probably with one main character and supporting characters, just so that the message in the story could be that much more resonant with a greater number of audiences. And like Cellophane, we see my bias, Soyeon.
Here we go.
I don't know how you describe it, guys. It's like covered in mud, clay, in a red,
writhing.
Right? Yes. Good way to describe it, Stephen. But in the more of that hellish landscape, I think it's a very strong inspirational cue from Cellophane. I'm not sure what you guys thought of that comparison.
I mean, I saw the side-by-side images on Twitter, and I was like, oh yeah, that's taken. That's plagiarized. But do I care?
The visual is
like. I mean, come on! Like, especially
K-pop.
In terms of visual art, like music video, you take a clip, you take inspiration from somebody else. Everybody's doing that. I don't think it's like a canceled moment.
Yeah.
And it's a small part of the overall video, right? I mean, if they had done different colored mud, nobody would have said it.
True. Speaking of the plagiarism accusations, we wanted to highlight a comment from one of our fans who joined the K-pop chat on Twitter. If you want to be a part of that, just follow us at the Kpopcast, and you too can be featured on the show. We heard from Jammy Last, aka Black Jesus 7, who said, "It's plagiarized, but I'm not sure it's substantial enough to be of note. And I-DLE don't produce their own music videos. It's, of course, their trash company, Cube. For all we know, this MV concept could be pulled from a performance artist for FKA Twigs as well." So true.
I agree with 85% of that. My only disagreement would be, I I feel like, now maybe this is me just taking Queendom too literally, as if it's a documentary, but I think Soyeon has some influence over the music video, concept, choreo, that sort of thing.
She only gets credit for all the good things. That's what she is responsible for.
Oh yeah, that's how it works.
Right.
Well, speaking of Soyeon, do we want to talk about the music? Because we know that she definitely has a hand in writing all of the music for them.
So if I can apply my ballroom dancer perspective to this, a Latin ballroom dancer perspective even, when it comes to the music, the verses are a cha-cha. The pre-chorus is a samba. And the chorus is a rumba.
Ooh.
You've got all of those combined into one package, and you can.
Ta-ta.
Yeah.
I was here thinking they're all the same.
No.
This is why we have you on the show, Peter.
They have their own musical stylings, and you could do each of those dances all in one song. So it's a good workout. If you're like me and you need to lose weight.
Are you going to upload like a Zumba style tutorial to this song, Peter? Can we count on that?
Oh, that's a good idea. I probably should, but I don't want to show off.
You are at home.
Oh, gosh.
I would love that. I would do it every day.
But man, it's going hard. It's a strong, eerie follow-on to Lion. It's like this evil seductress sort of vibe that I'm getting from the music.
It's definitely a I-DLE song, right? I mean, the focus on the concept is so clear from start to finish. This isn't a song that somebody shopped around and they liked the sound of it and then they had to think up a concept. I mean, this whole idea this song was written with the concept in mind. Much like Lion, right? I mean, Lion was made for queendom. I'm a queen like a lion, right? Very dramatic. It's not some people. The song hasn't been universally loved, based on my trip around the internet. But
yeah, we did a few polls. It was kind of polarized on whether people thought it was daebak or not.
Yeah, and I think it's because it's not a it's not a fun song. It's not a dance song. It's not a quirky song. It's really, it's dramatic, right? It's atmospheric.
Is that just another way of saying it's not dynamic? It doesn't move. It doesn't make me want to move.
Well, actually, I want to comment on that. Yeah, but really, from start to finish, right, this idea of light and darkness, of innocence and temptation. The intro, obviously, it has that bell. It's
Church
very
bells,
slow, ominous, right, oppressive. And then it's kind of out of nowhere, the verse, as you say, Peter, it's much more upbeat, it's lighter, it's a total switch.
Oh, I don't know how to breathe.
And the pre-chorus is also a very light, dancey.
What?
Oh, yeah.
What part of this is dancey?
It builds.
Remind me.
The pre-chorus is building up. You can imagine a totally different.
Driving, marching part.
Yeah. Well, and then you've got the trappy.
Yep.
Where it's building up to the drop. And then I think where it loses some people is the chorus drops down deep. It goes halftime.
Yeah.
I actually thought, I was going to say, for people who don't like the chorus, it's really short. It's only 2 lines. But it's actually not that short in time because it's halftime. So it's about the normal
time.
I would say...
By the way, that's what you're supposed to do in rumba. You're really supposed to you drive and then slowly steepen it and fill it and feel it out.
I like rumba. I like dancing to it.
Yeah, so, and that kind of thing keeps cycling through the whole song. It goes up and it's lighter, and then it drops really dark and ominous.
I think that the drop to the dark and ominous part that you mentioned is epic and it's nice, but for me, it's more appropriate for a bridge or a breakdown. Like after you've got your heart rate up and you've danced a bit. it should break down to this and like go away. I don't want to hear it like more than once. As a listener.
Well, that's a weird thing about the bridge in the song. It kind of confused me at first because the bridge comes in between two choruses and it sounds a lot like the verses.
Yeah.
It's not a traditional bridge because they've got to bring in something lighter in between the two darker
Put your hands all over, want you sweat on me forever. I'm losing my composure, can nobody do me better. 탐하게 onto myself, I need to let go. And I fall right back into your arms.
This kind of reminds me of Kill This Love, Blackpink.
Yeah, I was just about to say, and that was the reason I didn't like Kill This Love was it was so slow and marching, and it felt like it lost energy.
Yeah, but guys, like each song has a place. Not every song is an upbeat, happy butterfly and rainbows or sexy time dance song. This is a song to feel bad, to like know that you've done wrong.
It's conflict.
Yeah. Oh, that is definitely it. It is more conflict.
Yeah,
it's definitely that. Yeah,
thing.
you're absolutely right, Stephen.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was at when I listened to the song the first few times, I was a little bit disappointed that it didn't seem like it progressed. That things changed, even that kind of swings back and forth. And especially if you think of like the final chorus, I always think of my favorite kind of final chorus is like an EXID chorus.
Yeah.
Where they just throw everything at you. They've got the chorus, they bump up the instrumentals, they've got Ellie rapping over the chorus, they've got Solji doing ad-lib. It's just an explosion. And this one, the intro and the outro are almost exactly the same. The outro slows down just on the last like two syllables, but the chorus actually does change. I think maybe you could say it's too subtle, but actually the last chorus does bring in elements from the rest of the song. It starts off with the bell, which is the only place you have that other than the intro and the outro. It has the piano from the verses. It's way back in the mix. It's not very prominent. It doesn't really brighten the chorus that much. But it does bring that in. And it also has that kind of trap percussion build-up from the pre-chorus.
Okay, I'll have to listen to that again.
Yeah, if you say it sounds very different, but it's so subtle that I don't know.
Clearly,
if it works
you've had this on
as well as
replay,
intended.
unlike the rest of us.
I mean, I listened to it a couple of times.
Yeah. Just as long as they don't like pitch shift it. At the third chorus, I hate it when they go a half step up at the end. Like that is like a sin. No song should ever do that.
That's a crutch.
No, it never
More
works.
often than
Girls' Day.
No.
Yeah.
I guess my main critique with the song itself is you've got these like really, to your point, Stephen, these choruses that feel like they're immersed, they're deep entrenched in conflict. And then immediately after that, you've got these really hokey piano like coming in that tries to like perk it up again. And it's like, whoa, that's like a really different direction in mood and feeling. And it makes the song feel cheap.
It's a bait and switch.
Yeah.
Like I was with and then
yeah, and if Soyeon was responsible for that, she wasn't responsible for that. So we'll just assume that like Soyeon didn't do that part. Even if she did, she
let me bring it back to Soyeon.
Oh, wonderful. Yes,
because my last observations are a couple of what might be Soyeon's signatures that I like in this song. One of them is, Peter, you often point this out to me, the backing vocals. You often talk about Soyeon's backing vocal. Her ad-libs.
Yeah, right.
Are really cool. In this, the production is kind of intricate and detailed, and if you listen, there's lots of whispers and murmurs going on, and backing vocals that aren't just like layering or echoing. There's interesting stuff going on. with the vocals in the background. And I think that's something that Soyeon does pretty well in her song.
Oh God, 어찌 저에게 이런 시험을 줬나요? What's it called for? Man can't stop. 대체 여기에 그녀를 빠져나갈까요? 당신이 준 절대는 어두운 블랙홀 가게 지가도 혼이 나가 채로 그저 어리버리 동시가 불가능해 설득뿌리 마약같이 이겨주라면 버리다 도와줘 달게 받지.
Good job, Soyeon.
I agree.
Right?
I'll take that as a win.
And the other thing is, this has especially struck me because their last single was Lion. In the rap break, if you remember in Lion, Soyeon changes her cadence a lot. She's really skilled at that. And in Lion, she builds up, gets faster and faster, da 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 da. We're the queen, or I'm the queen.
Mm-hmm, right.
And then she takes that deep breath, like she's out of breath, that.
쓸데없는 게 있다에 물어뜯어 평균이란 답답한 우리는 무너뜨려 그 밑에 누가 날 막고 또 누가 날 조종해 조심해 다듬지 못한 발톱으로 아무도 갚은 적이 없는 개척하는 길 뻔히 빠진 꼰대들이 혀를 차던지 그걸 해내고서 야받는 박수는 덧자리다 마주치 그걸만 받고 이제 부정할 수 없어 I'm a queen.
Right.
Which was kind of a clever little
sounded just like her.
Way to fill the beat.
Addition to the song. She kind of does a similar thing in this, in the rap break. In Oh My God, she has this faster part at the end where it's going, and then there's that licky, slurpy.
Oh yeah, she like licks the chain or something. Like
maybe
not
it looks like she's licking at the barbed wire in the video.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the part where in the English version it makes a little bit more sense because she's talking about like it tastes like honey, and then you hear that licking sound.
Whoa.
Right.
Oh yeah, I regret it. You're judgmental to my help, but I never leave it. I'm probably crazy, but I need one, you gotta have it. You make me praise the burn, sure as it tastes like honey.
Okay, one point for Team LGBT.
And Soyeon.
Soyeon gets a point.
By default. Okay. I'm realizing we skipped over the
We did.
performances.
I
I'm
was
sorry,
like,
guys.
what?
I screwed up the outline. So yeah, what did you guys think of the performances of the song and the dancing?
I mean, briefly, I thought clearly a lot of time, effort, and money went into the live performance.
Yes.
The dance, like an army,
All the backup dancers.
an army of backup dancers is on stage. I was worried about coronavirus concerns. Like, you all should not be congregating like that, like just falling over each other, flailing arms and stuff. But the choreo is impressive.
Yeah, especially if you take because they have two versions of the intro. So there's the black version and the white version. And the black version, they're just all up on each other. And
they're
like
literally in a
mass
pile
of just arms and body.
COVID central. But that did look
But
really cool.
in the white version,
and
yeah, the white version, they're nice and like socially distanced. They're they're in these rows, like on their knees, kind of like praying to whatever. I guess God Soyeon.
God Soyeon. There we go. Perfect.
yeah, I liked
really
how the choreo like adds another layer of religious imagery in that all the backup dancers are faceless. They have kind of lace veils or masks over them, and they're all worshiping like disciples, worshiping the goddesses that are the G-idle members. So it all fits together.
Nothing can pull me away from your embrace. I'm not going anywhere. Here we go again. I hear the sound of pain flowing slowly through my veins.
Okay. Well, that all being said, it's about that time. It's time to worship Soyeon. It is time to give
always
our
that
final
time for you.
scores. So taking this all into account, taking in the message, the lyrics, which were nonsensical, the visuals, the dancing, the music, the Soyeon, and Soyeon rapping,
category.
and Soyeon's licking, and Soyeon's dancing, and slurping, and Soyeon's sexy imagery was this song.
All right.
Take
back or not.
I can't believe we still do this on the show.
Why not?
Stephanie. What,
No, it's
Steven.
Steven. Steven's first.
Oh, Steven.
Steven, 1, 2, 3, Daybug or not?
I can't hear Steven.
Steven, are you with us?
I can't hear him. Yes.
Now can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Oh my gosh, you guys must have missed so many genius little comments.
Oh, man.
All right. Definitely Daebak. This is not the best G-Idle song, but it achieves its purpose perfectly. It's very dramatic. It's a fully realized concept. Definitely Daebak.
Okay, Stephanie.
I'm going to have to go with not. The concept is phenomenal, but it's just not enough. The audio is terrible. Not for me.
Okay. Okay, I agree with you. It's a not for me as well for similar reasons. Okay,
Come on, Peter.
Yeah, I guess it's Daebak. I was actually coming into this to say not today.
Peter
Wait,
appears
you guessed.
I was coming here to say it's not Daebak, and that's even why we had you on the show, Stephen, so that we can all say not Daebak.
Yeah.
but
Does that mean I'm off the show?
Well,
Yeah.
Anyway, moving along, just us talking about it, like especially like re-listening to the chorus in my head and like immersing myself in that conflict and that vibe and talking about Soyeon just made me realize like there's no choice but the Daebak one. So this song is Daebak despite preconceived notions of I-DLE. Okay, well, that wraps it up for this episode of the Kpopcast. You can always chat with us on Twitter at the Kpopcast.
Or shoot us an email with your constructive feedback and episode ideas at kpopcastshow@gmail.com.
If you love Soyeon and you have thoughts about this episode, and you also think that Soyeon is an artistic genius and coming messiah of our time,
Who wrote this?
You should join our Kpopcast Slack. We'll drop in a link in this episode description. You can talk with us, other listeners, and also talk more about Soyeon and other K-pop songs, sure, I guess.
And other groups.
So wrapping it up, let our listeners know where they can find you on Twitter.
You can find me at Tennessee Appeal or follow the K-Pop Unmuted podcast at K-Pop Unmuted.
I'm at DJ Peter Lowe.
I'm at S. Parker 2.
And I'm at Michaela J. K-Pop.
Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share this episode with all your friends and spread the word, the gospel of Soyeon.
Spread the good word.
All right. Thanks for having us on. Thank you for coming on, Stephen. It's like,
are we on K-Pop Unmuted? Or?
Are you drinking soju from the bottle? Keep it classy, Peter.
Friday.
Yeah.
Why not?
It is Friday.
God, I was waiting for Friday, 5 p.m.
Yeah. It's funny. We had to delay this episode because I was talking to my boss. And she said, like, hey, if you want to, like, crack open an alcoholic beverage right now, I'm like, let me save that for after our chat. And then as we were wrapping up.
Right. I'm way ahead of you.
Another one. Yeah. But at the end of the chat, I said, like, okay, I'm going to crack open that beer now. Or I guess in this case, soju. But, yeah.
She doesn't need to know that yet.